Explainer. Looking at the massive, frankly staggering gap between an everyday bank account and billionaire wealth, well, it can feel incredibly frustrating, right? Especially when you look around and see people working tirelessly, just literally grinding to make ends meet, while a select few seem to just accumulate wealth at a completely incomprehensible rate. So today we're going to unpack the actual mechanics of how wealth is really generated based on our source text, and we're going to explore this wealth equation that absolutely nobody teaches us in school.
Let's start with $1 million. I mean, for the vast majority of people on Earth, this is it, right? The ultimate, lifelong financial goal. It represents total security, finally getting that mortgage off your back, and basically guaranteeing a comfortable retirement. It is a massive, massive milestone.
But now, multiply that goal by 10. $10 million. Now we're crossing into the territory of true generational wealth for most families. We're talking about the kind of money that ensures your kids, and probably their kids, are just going to be set for life. It completely reroutes the entire trajectory of a family tree.
Okay, let's take it a step further and multiply it again to reach 100 million. Honestly, at this point, the human brain actually starts struggling to truly grasp what this means in practical, everyday terms. It's this elite tier of wealth that most of us will literally never even interact with, let alone fully comprehend.
And finally, $1 billion. Just to put that number into perspective for a second, if you sat down and counted one number every single second, non-stop, it would take you over 31 years to count to a billion. It's a number so huge that Jeff Bezos could essentially replicate this billion-dollar benchmark over 100 times, all while most people are stressing over monthly bills and rent. It naturally begs the question, right? Like, what do rich people know that the rest of the world doesn't? Are they just exceptionally lucky, or is the entire game just completely rigged against the average person? I mean, when you wake up to an alarm you hate, drive to a job you don't enjoy, and repeat the cycle of bills and debt every single month, it for sure feels that way.
So let's talk about the lie about money. First, we really need to dismantle a frustrating reality. You do everything society tells you to do. You know the drill. You get the good grades, you take on the student loans, you get that stable corporate job, and you prep yourself to just grind it out for 4 straight decades. And hey, it sounds perfectly logical on paper. Work hard, earn more, become wealthy. But as you'll see, the reality is, it rarely works out that way.
A standard job might make you comfortable, but earning money through sheer effort, it's kind of a trap. Let's say you earn $20 an hour and you work 40 hours a week without ever taking a single vacation. Now assume you somehow magically never spent a single dollar on rent, food, or, life emergencies. Even then, it would still take you decades just to reach $1 million, and that's before taxes. The hard truth is that comfort and wealth are two completely different things.
Which brings us to the actual wealth equation. If the problem isn't your work ethic, well, then it's the equation you've been using. You see, the actual pattern behind self-made millionaires isn't some magic trick, and it's definitely not a secret society. It's based on this one absolutely crucial paradigm shift. The market doesn't care how hard you work, it only cares about how valuable your work is. Just let that sink in for a second. We're so conditioned to believe that sweat and long hours automatically equal financial reward. But the market is completely blind to your effort. It only measures the value of the output you provide.
This is exactly why a cleaner can totally outwork a CEO and still earn a fraction of the pay. Or how a single app can generate way more wealth than 20 years at a standard 9-to-5. Think about it. The cleaner is putting in incredible, literal, back-breaking physical effort day in and day out. But a software developer can sit at the desk, build an application just one time, and that application can serve millions of people simultaneously. The market rewards the value of serving millions, not the physical toll it actually takes to do the work.
So how do you create value? You simply have to solve problems. Because wealthy people don't chase money, they chase solutions. Literally every single dollar you have ever spent was exchanged to solve some kind of problem. You bought food to solve hunger. You bought a car to solve transportation. Dollars flow directly towards solutions. It's absolutely fascinating to realize that every single billion-dollar company out there started with just one thing, a problem and a willingness to solve it. Look at the giants. Amazon looked at the massive inconvenience of driving to a store to buy things, and they solved it. Google solved the absolute chaos of finding information on the early internet. Netflix solved the rigidity of broadcast television by offering entertainment right on demand. Uber looked at how annoying it was to hail a taxi and totally revolutionized transportation. None of them started with money. They started with a problem. And here is the catch.
The size of your reward is directly tied to the size of the problem you solve. It's just a simple, unyielding mathematical reality. If you solve a problem that's worth $100 to a few people, you're going to earn hundreds. But if you figure out how to solve $1 billion problem that affects millions of people across the globe, you will earn billions. The wealthy just fundamentally understand that money simply follows solutions.
Now let's talk about the magic of scale.
Because seeing the problem just isn't enough. Identifying a friction point is really only step one. The reason most people never get rich, even when they do start a business, is because they completely miss scale. Think about a brilliant yoga instructor. Let's say they charge $100 a session. Sounds fantastic, right? But they only have 24 hours in a day. They have a hard physical limit. Now, if that same exact instructor records their lessons once and creates an online system, well, they can sell that knowledge forever to anyone at any time of day. One is a job where you're trading time for money. The other is a system. And systems are what actually create wealth.
Reaching 10 million people changes absolutely everything. Scale is exactly what turns value into wealth, and this is the part nobody teaches in school. A solution is powerful, sure, but a scalable solution, that is genuinely life-changing. Software companies become absolute giants because they operate completely without the friction of physical limits. There's no warehouse to maintain, no shipping delays to worry about. One digital product can be sold infinitely. Scale is the engine that multiplies your value exponentially.
Which brings us to the ultimate destination.
Here's the ultimate twist, though. Are you ready? Most people don't actually want money at all. I mean, we spend our entire lives stressing over our bank accounts, calculating our salaries, staring at digital digits on a screen, thinking that the paper and the pixels are the end goal. But they aren't. Money is simply the tool. True freedom is the destination we are actually trying to reach. What we really crave is what the money represents, right? We want the freedom to wake up when our body is actually ready, not when a blaring alarm demands it. The freedom to travel, to take care of our families, and probably most importantly, the freedom to say no to things we just don't want to do. Understanding the wealth equation isn't just about trying to become a billionaire because, let's be real, most won't. It's about understanding how to reclaim your time.
If you take away just one single thing from this explainer today, remember this: money runs away from those who chase it. Every successful entrepreneur, millionaire, and billionaire started at the exact same place. They didn't start by asking how to make a quick buck. They looked at the world, found a friction point, created a scalable solution, and simply allowed the money to become the natural byproduct of the value they provided to society.
So start asking yourself this one single question. Because honestly, it has created more wealth than any degree or salary ever could. Instead of asking how you can make more money this week, look around your own life, your industry, or your community, and ask, how can I make this better? That simple shift in perspective is the true wealth equation nobody teaches. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you to think about this. What problems are you uniquely positioned to solve today?